How can a company that sells hamburgers for only a few dollars become one of the largest commercial real estate holders on the planet? In this episode, we are going to see the whole truth behind the McDonald's brand as we know it today. This is the story of two visionary brothers who perfected operational efficiency, and a ruthless 52-year-old traveling salesman who realized that the true money wasn't in the meat, but in the land beneath the grill. While Richard and Maurice McDonald were content with a comfortable life and a single hyper-efficient drive-in, Ray Kroc saw a global empire, and he was willing to rewrite history, break contracts, and drive his original partners into bankruptcy to claim it. When the dust settled, Kroc had transformed a local California diner into a multi-billion-dollar corporate landlord disguised as a restaurant chain. This is Venture. And today we analyze the story of Ray Kroc, the McDonald brothers, and the real estate secret behind the world's largest fast food empire. The story begins in the aftermath of the Great Depression. Richard and Maurice McDonald left New Hampshire for California with a single goal: to become millionaires before turning 50. After failed ventures in the movie theater industry, the brothers opened a drive-in barbecue restaurant in San Bernardino in 1940. It was a modest success, employing car hops on roller skates to serve over 100 cars at a time. The brothers grew frustrated by high labor turnover, broken glassware, and the rowdy teenage crowds their drive-in attracted. They pulled a move that stunned their competitors. They shut the restaurant down entirely to analyze their sales receipts. What they discovered changed the restaurant industry forever. Over 80% of their revenue came from just 3 items: hamburgers, French fries, and milkshakes. The McDonald brothers decided to streamline everything. They eliminated car hops, substituted real plates with paper packaging, and stripped their menu down to 9 core items. To perfect their kitchen layout, they drew full-scale floor plans in chalk on their backyard tennis courts, timing every movement of their workers. They called it the Speedee Service System. By applying Henry Ford's assembly line principles to food preparation, where each worker performed a single, repetitive task, the brothers slashed order fulfillment times from 20 minutes down to just 15 seconds. So, after this reorganization of roles, there were workers dedicated exclusively to the grill. Others frying the fries, others packaging the burgers, and others taking the orders. Customers could walk up to a window, hand over 15 cents, and receive a fresh, hot hamburger instantly. By the early 1950s, the San Bernardino location was generating over $200,000 a year in profit. Yet despite their success, the McDonald brothers had little desire for national expansion. Quality of life over corporate stress, preferring to live in California mansions and drive new Cadillacs rather than manage a distant corporate network. They openly shared their blueprints with visitors, inadvertently inspiring the founders of Burger King, Taco Bell, and Dairy Queen. The brothers were content. But in 1954, an unexpected order from San Bernardino would bring Ray Kroc directly to their front door. Ray Kroc was a milkshake mixer salesman, and when he noticed a single, remote restaurant in San Bernardino ordering 8 multi-mixers at a time, enough capacity to mix 40 milkshakes simultaneously, he flew to California to see the operation with his own eyes. Ray Kroc was the definition of a restless American hustler. At 52 years old, having worked as a Red Cross ambulance driver alongside a young Walt Disney, a jazz pianist, a real estate agent, and a paper cup salesman, Kroc was traveling the country selling the multi-mixer, commercial blender capable of mixing 5 milkshakes at once. What Kroc witnessed blew him away. Dozens of customers were lined up outside an immaculate, gleaming building, receiving high-quality food in seconds. While the McDonald brothers saw a comfortable local business, Kroc saw golden arches dotting every highway across the United States. Because the brothers lacked the energy to handle nationwide expansion, they agreed to hire Kroc as their exclusive master franchising agent in 1955. Kroc established McDonald's System Incorporated in Illinois, embarking on a relentless mission to build a fast food network. However, the legal contract Kroc signed quickly became a financial trap. Under the terms of the agreement, Kroc charged franchisees an upfront fee of $950 plus a 1.9% fee on gross store sales. Of that 1.9%, Kroc had to pay 0.5% directly to the McDonald brothers as a royalty. That left Kroc's company with just 1.4% of store revenue. After covering corporate overhead, legal, fees, and site selection costs, Kroc was virtually going broke while his franchisees and the McDonald brothers prospered. To make matters worse, the original contract stipulated that Kroc could not make a single alteration to the store design, kitchen layout, or menu without written every time Kroc wanted to innovate, such as adding a basement for storage in his Des Plaines, Illinois store. The brothers refused or stalled, creating a bitter, personal rift. Kroc was working 80-hour weeks without taking a salary, while bound to a contract that throttled his financial growth. By 1956, McDonald's System Incorporated was facing a severe liquidity crunch. Kroc had successfully opened dozens of locations, but his 1.4% service fee wasn't enough to fund a national corporate infrastructure. The turning point came when Kroc hired Harry Sonneborn, a former executive from Tasty Freeze. Sonneborn looked at the balance and delivered a revelation that reshaped corporate history. Ray, you're not in the burger business. You're in the real estate business. The only reason people buy your hamburgers is so they can pay you rent. Sonneborn engineered a completely new corporate structure by founding the Franchise Realty Corporation. Instead of simply selling franchise rights, McDonald's began acquiring or signing long-term leases on the land where future restaurants would be built. McDonald's would then sublease the land back to the franchisee at a massive markup, often 40%, higher than the base lease cost, or structured as a fixed monthly fee plus a percentage of gross store sales, typically 8.5%, whichever was higher. This shift created three massive advantages. Guaranteed revenue stream. McDonald's was no longer dependent solely on the fluctuating profit margins of 15-cent hamburgers. They received fixed, inflation-protected rent payments every month, regardless of store profitability. Zero capital balance sheet growth. Franchisees were required to pay upfront. Security deposits, which Sonneborn used as down payments to buy more land. Bank financing became easy to secure because McDonald's held tangible property assets on its balance sheet. Absolute operational control. If a franchisee failed to maintain strict standards of cleanliness, service, or quality, McDonald's didn't just revoke their franchise license, they evicted them from the property. By taking control of the land, Ray Kroc turned McDonald's into a financial powerhouse, groundwork for rapid, nationwide expansion. By 1961, McDonald's had over 220 locations across the country, but the ongoing friction between Ray Kroc and the McDonald brothers had reached a boiling point. Frustrated by their constant vetoes and refusal to allow structural contract revisions, Kroc demanded to know what it would take for the brothers to walk away entirely. The brothers demanded $2.7 million in cash, calculating $1 million each after taxes, plus $700,000 for Uncle Sam, along with retaining their original San Bernardino store. To raise $2.7 million, the equivalent of nearly $28 million today, Sonneborn secured high-interest loans from Wall Street institutional investors. Kroc paid the price, but according to Richard McDonald, a second, crucial condition was agreed upon. A gentleman's handshake deal for a perpetual 0.5% royalty on all future global system sales. Kroc allegedly insisted on keeping the royalty off the written to avoid complicating his investor loans. Whether that handshake deal was a factual event or a bitter corporate myth, the outcome was swift. Once the legal transfer was signed, Kroc refused to pay the brothers a single cent in royalties. Over the following decades, that 0.5% royalty would have been worth hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Furious that the brothers had retained the original San Bernardino store, which they renamed the Big M, Kroc opened a brand new state-of-the-art McDonald's just one block away. Within a few years, the Big M was driven out of business. Kroc then set out to rewrite the corporate narrative. He consolidated his companies into the McDonald's Corporation, declared himself the founder, and designated his Des Plaines, Illinois store as McDonald's No. 1, effectively erasing Richard and Maurice McDonald from the official history of the company they had created. Free from contract restrictions, Kroc placed operational leadership in the hands of Fred Turner, a former fry cook who rose to vice president of operations and eventually CEO. Turner standardized every operational detail into an exact manual, establishing Hamburger University in 1961 to train franchisees. Under Turner and Kroc, McDonald's leaned into local franchisee innovations. Franchisees invented the Big Mac, the Filet-O-Fish, the Egg McMuffin, and the drive-through window. First into Canada and Europe, and later into Japan in 1971, Turner kept the core menu intact, while allowing local operators to drive regional marketing. McDonald's went public on Wall Street in 1965, turning Kroc, Sonneborn, and dozens of early franchisees into multimillionaires. By the time Ray Kroc passed away in 1984, McDonald's was operating thousands of restaurants in dozens of countries. Today, McDonald's boasts a market capitalization exceeding $200 billion, with over 40,000 locations worldwide. Yet, behind the golden arches, the core business model remains virtually unchanged from Harry Sonneborn's original blueprint. Over 85% of all global McDonald's restaurants are operated by franchisees. The corporation owns the land and buildings for approximately 70% of its global stores. Direct rent payments from franchisees account for over 60% of McDonald's total corporate revenue, generating higher profit margins than company-owned store food sales. Ray Kroc did not invent the fast food assembly line, nor did he create the hamburger recipe that conquered the world. What he recognized was the power of a brand name, the absolute necessity of operational consistency, and the financial leverage of commercial real estate. This was venture. Was Ray Kroc a visionary corporate builder who rescued a revolutionary idea from local obscurity, or a ruthless opportunist who betrayed the original founders to claim their legacy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and join us for the next Chronicle.